We continue with our operations with complex numbers, and now we wish to divide two complex numbers. For this, it will be useful to have the following new definition. When we have a complex number, let's say plus bi, we define a new complex number that is called its conjugate, and we denote by writing a little start on the right of our complex number. And this is a complex number that has the same real part and then the negative of the imaginary part. So we are just changing the sign in the middle, we can say it that way. Why are we doing this? Well, the nice property that we have over here is that if we try to multiply a complex number by its conjugate, according to the multiplication we already know how to do, we're going to have a square. We are also going to have in the real part a term that has bi multiplied by negative bi, so that's going to be plus b squared. The I square is negative, and then we have a negative sign as well. And that's it, because for the imaginary part, we will be multiplying a times negative bi, and bi multiply a, and those terms cancel each other. So that means when we multiply a complex number with conjugate, the result is a real number. So this is what we are going to use for our division. We are going to multiply and divide the number by the conjugate of the denominator. So in this case, 4 minus I. So we are going to be multiplying and dividing by 4 plus I. So that's like multiplying by 1, so no problem. And the advantage of doing so is that then in the denominator, the result is going to be a real number. So it's going to be, in this case, 16. And then we are going to have plus 1. So 4 squared plus 1 squared. Okay, so let's just multiply what we have on the numerator so we can check that what we did is actually useful. So we are going to have 1 multiplying 4 for the real part, and also we are going to have negative 2 for the real part. And for the imaginary part, we are going to have the 1 multiply the I and the 2I multiply 4. So that is the 1 and then plus 8. So this number is 2 over 17 plus I multiplied by 9 over 17. And we are done, because by making sure that the denominator is a real number, what we made sure is that we wrote our complex number on the form a plus I times b. So this will be the real part here, and this will be the imaginary part here. Let's do one example from our textbook. Okay, so we have two complex numbers, Z and W, and then we want to, for the part A is exactly what we did before, so I'll let you do that alone. For part B, we want to find what is I over Z, so I over 2 minus I. So we are going to multiply and divide by the conjugate of 2 minus I, which is 2 plus I. So in the denominator, if we are doing things correctly, we should get a real number. The real number is going to be 2 squared, and then we're going to have plus 1. And then we are going to have in the numerator minus 1, that's I times I, and then plus 2I. So this is the complex number negative 1 over 5 plus I multiplied by 2 over 5. And we wrote I over Z on the form we wanted. Let's look at part D, just because it looks different. It says we want to find Z to the power of negative 2. So that means we want 1 divided by Z squared. So we are going to need to find what is Z squared. So I'm going to multiply 2 minus I by itself to find Z squared. So I'm going to have 4, and then I'm going to have minus 1 for the real part, and then I'm gonna have negative 2 and negative 2 again, so I'm getting 3 minus 4i. So we are trying to find what is 1 over 3 minus 4i. We need to multiply and divide by 3 plus 4i. So we have 3 plus 4i for our numerator, and then in our denominator we are going to have 9 and plus 16, real part 3 over 25 plus I, and then for the imaginary part we have 4 over 25, and that's a complex number we were trying to find. Just a quick and slightly unrelated note at the end of this video. I sometimes write the complex numbers as a plus bi, and sometimes I write them as a plus ib. That really doesn't matter. These are just two different and very similar notations for the same. Our textbook uses the first one, and I'm slightly more used to use the second one. So even though I'm trying to stick to the textbook one, when I start talking, I tend to forget and write the second one. So these are just notations, and I apologize by the lack of consistency, and I hope that you don't mind.